The morning sun peeked through the kitchen window, painting bright stripes across the table where Alex was carefully buttering toast. 6-year-old Lily, his whole world, hummed a cheerful tune as she poured colorful cereal into her bowl. "Daddy, look," she exclaimed, holding up a drawing of a smiling stick figure with a guitar. "It's you playing music," Alex smiled, a warm feeling spreading through his chest, even as a tiny sigh escaped him. He remembered those days, a lifetime ago it seemed, when music filled his every waking moment. Now, the mornings were a whirlwind of breakfast, packing Lily's lunch, and making sure her braids were just right before school. Their small apartment, though cozy, often felt like a pit stop in Alex's busy life. He was a master of the morning rush, a superhero of the school drop-off, and a wizard at bedtime stories. Lily, with her bright eyes and infectious giggle, made every moment worth it. She was a whirlwind of energy, always curious, always asking questions. "Can we go to the park today, Daddy?" she'd ask, her voice full of hope. Alex would often nod, even if it meant less sleep for him later. His delivery job meant long hours crisscrossing the city, navigating traffic, and making sure packages arrived safely. It wasn't the life he'd imagined when he was younger, strumming his guitar with big dreams, but it was a life filled with Lily's love, and that was everything. They were a team, a happy, bustling duo, making the most of every day. After dropping Lily off at school, Alex's day truly began. His old delivery van, affectionately nicknamed the Road Warrior, rumbled to life, ready for another day of zipping through city streets. He knew every shortcut, every back alley, every peak traffic time. Package after package, house after house, the routine was familiar, almost like a song with a steady beat. But it wasn't the kind of song he used to play. Sometimes, stuck at a red light, Alex would tap his fingers on the steering wheel, mimicking a guitar fretboard. His mind would wander back to smoky club stages, the roar of a crowd, and the electrifying feel of his guitar against his chest. He remembered the thrill of writing a new melody, the way the notes would twist and turn, telling a story all their own. Back then, music was his voice, his passion, his future. He'd spent countless hours practicing, dreaming of being a famous musician. Now, his hands, once nimble on guitar strings, were strong from lifting boxes and firm on the steering wheel. The thought of his old guitar, tucked away in its case in the closet, brought a mix of sadness and a faint longing. He hadn't touched it in years. Life had shifted, taken a different path, one that required steady work and predictable paychecks to care for Lily. There was no room for late-night gigs or risky dreams anymore. Yet, as he delivered a package to a house where a soft piano melody drifted from an open window, a quiet ache settled in his chest. He missed it, the music. He missed the feeling of truly being Alex, the musician, not just Alex, the delivery driver. Later that evening, after Lily was tucked into bed, dreaming sweet dreams, Alex found himself drawn to the small closet in the hallway. He opened it slowly, and there it was, sitting quietly in its worn, black case, his old guitar. He carefully lifted the case out, the familiar weight a comforting presence in his hands. Dust motes danced in the dim light as he unlatched the clasps and lifted the lid. Inside lay Old Blue, as he used to call it. Its body was a deep, shimmering blue, now dulled by a fine layer of dust but still beautiful. A few small scratches told stories of lively gigs and hurried practices. The strings, once bright and buzzing with life, were now a little rusty, silent from disuse. Alex gently traced the smooth wood of its neck, remembering how his fingers used to dance across the frets, coaxing out melodies. He'd bought Old Blue with his first big paycheck from a summer job, saving every penny for months. It wasn't just an instrument, it was a part of him. With Old Blue, he had written his first song about a starry night and played his first concert for a handful of friends in a local cafe. He remembered the feeling of the vibrations humming through the wood, up his arm, and into his very soul. Every strum, every chord was a piece of his heart poured into music. He used to sit for hours, lost in the sounds, creating worlds with his melodies. Now it just sat there, a quiet reminder of a path not taken, a dream left behind. Alex sighed, closing the case gently, the click echoing in the quiet room. The quiet moment with his guitar was a fleeting comfort. The next morning, reality hit with a stack of envelopes on the kitchen counter. Alex dreaded mail delivery more than rush hour traffic. He carefully opened each one, his brow furrowing deeper with every bill. The rent, electricity, Lily's school supplies, a repair for the van, they all seemed to be shouting for attention at once. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. His delivery job paid enough for their day-to-day needs, but unexpected costs always seemed to pop up, turning his careful budget into a tangled mess. He looked at Lily's bright artwork taped to the fridge, a picture of a rainbow with a smiling sun. Her dreams were simple and pure: a new box of crayons, a trip to the zoo, a shiny red ball. Alex wanted to give her everything, to make sure her world was full of joy and free from worry. But the numbers on the bills told a different story. He pulled out a small notebook where he tracked his expenses, trying to find a way to make everything fit. He moved numbers around, crossed things out, and added new totals, but the final sum always looked too big. A knot of worry tightened in his stomach. He was working extra shifts, sometimes barely seeing Lily awake, but it still wasn't quite enough. He thought about delaying a bill, but that just meant more stress later. He needed a way to get ahead, to clear some of the growing debt that made his heart feel heavy. He hated feeling this way, especially when Lily was around. He always tried to keep a brave face, a happy smile, so she wouldn't feel the weight of his grown-up worries. But alone, the worry pressed down on him, making sleep hard to find. The next few days were a blur of numbers and silent calculations for Alex. He looked at every possible way to find the extra money, but all paths led to a dead end. Then his eyes fell on the closet door, and a heavy feeling settled in his chest. He knew what he had to do, even though the thought twisted his stomach into knots. It was the only thing of real value he owned that wasn't essential for their daily lives. He pulled out Old Blue's case once more, the weight now feeling like a burden. He opened it, looking at the familiar blue gleam, the small scratches, the silent strings. This wasn't just a guitar. It was a piece of his youth, a vessel for his dreams, a comfort in lonely times. Selling it felt like selling a part of himself, a farewell to the Alex who used to believe anything was possible with a guitar in his hands. With a heavy heart, he posted an ad online. He tried to make the description sound good, highlighting its quality and history, but each word felt like a lie, a betrayal. He didn't want to sell it. He wanted to hold onto the hope it represented, but Lily needed new shoes, and the electricity bill was overdue. Lily's bright smile was more important than his old dreams. A few days later, a kind man came to look at the guitar. Alex watched as the man carefully inspected Old Blue, strumming a few gentle chords. The sound, even dusty and quiet, filled the apartment with a bittersweet melody. When the man agreed to buy it, Alex felt a pang so sharp it took his breath away. He handed over the case, his fingers brushing against the worn handle one last time. As the man walked out, Old Blue disappeared from his sight, taking with it a piece of Alex's heart, leaving an empty space where music used to live. The money in his hand felt heavy, but also cold. Weeks later, the sting of selling Old Blue had dulled a little, replaced by the quiet hum of financial stability. The bills were paid, and Lily had her new shoes. One sunny Saturday, Lily burst into the living room, a flyer clutched in her hand. "Daddy, look, it's the spring community fair. They have face painting and bouncy castles and music." Her eyes sparkled with excitement. Alex smiled, his heart lifting a little at her enthusiasm. He hadn't been to a community event in ages, always too busy with work or too tired. But seeing Lily's happy face, he knew they had to go. Sounds like fun, sweet pea. "Let's get ready." The fair was a joyful explosion of colors and sounds. Laughter drifted from the bouncy castle, the smell of popcorn filled the air, and children chased bubbles that floated high above the trees. Lily, her face painted like a sparkly butterfly, dragged Alex from one stall to another, eager to see everything. He watched her play, a genuine smile returning to his face. It was good to see her so happy, and good to just be a dad enjoying a day out. As they walked past the main stage, a lively folk band was playing, their music weaving through the crowd. Alex paused, a familiar pull in his chest. He saw people tapping their feet, singing along, their faces lit up with joy. For a moment he closed his eyes, imagining himself up there, feeling the rhythm, sharing his own melodies. The feeling was a gentle ache now, not the sharp pain it had been when he sold Old Blue. Lily tugged his hand. "Come on, Daddy, let's get some ice cream." He opened his eyes, the stage fading into the background, and followed her, trying to focus on the sweet treat ahead. Still, a part of him lingered by the music, a faint whisper of what used to be. After enjoying their ice cream, Alex and Lily circled back towards the stage, drawn by the upbeat music. The folk band had just finished their set, and the lead singer, a friendly-looking woman with a bright smile, stepped forward. "Thank you, everyone, what a great crowd," she called out. "Is there anyone out there who'd like to come up and share a song with us? We've got an extra guitar, just waiting for a brave soul." Alex felt his heart give a little jump. Play, on a stage, it had been so long. His hands, though strong from driving, hadn't touched real guitar strings in years. A wave of shyness washed over him, making his cheeks feel warm. He glanced down at Lily, who was bouncing on her toes, captivated by the stage. Suddenly, Lily looked up at him, her butterfly-painted face beaming. "Daddy, you should play, you play so good," she whispered loudly, pulling on his sleeve. Her innocent faith hit him harder than any stage fright. He saw the pride in her eyes, a belief that he was still the musician she'd only seen in her drawings. The lead singer, noticing Lily's enthusiastic pointing, looked at Alex with an encouraging smile. "How about it, sir? Care to share your talent?" Alex hesitated, his mind racing. What if he was rusty? What if he messed up? But then he looked at Lily again, her face full of hopeful expectation. He didn't want to let her down. He didn't want to let Asterisk himself down, the part of him that still loved music. Taking a deep breath, he gave a small, nervous nod. "Okay," he said, his voice a little raspy. "I'll try." The lead singer grinned and waved him forward, and with Lily cheering him on, Alex slowly walked towards the stage, his steps feeling both heavy and light. Alex carefully walked onto the stage, his heart beating like a drum. The lead singer handed him a guitar, a shiny acoustic one that felt both strange and wonderfully familiar in his hands. He adjusted the strap, feeling the cool wood against his chest. He looked out at the crowd, a sea of friendly faces, and then down at Lily, who was waving excitedly from the front row. Her smile was all he needed. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes for a moment, and let his fingers find their way to the strings. The first few notes were a little shaky, a little quiet, but then something clicked. It was like riding a bike after many years. The muscle memory was still there, waiting. He began to play a melody, a gentle, flowing tune he had written long ago, a song about hope and finding your way home. As he played, the music started to flow freely, weaving a spell over the fairgrounds. His fingers danced across the frets with a grace he hadn't realized he still possessed. The notes filled the air, clear and true, telling a story without words. The crowd grew quiet, listening intently. You could hear the melody ripple through the trees, soft and sweet. People stopped eating their popcorn, children paused their games, all drawn to the beautiful sound coming from the stage. Alex's voice, a warm, clear baritone, joined the melody, singing lyrics about dreams, family, and the quiet strength of love. He sang about how life changes, but some things, like the love for his daughter, stay forever bright. He forgot about the bills, the long shifts, and the dusty guitar case. For those few minutes, he was just Alex, the musician, pouring his heart out. When the last note faded, a hush hung in the air, then a wave of applause, loud and heartfelt, washed over him. Lily was jumping up and down, clapping her hands so hard. A warm, happy feeling spread through Alex, a feeling he hadn't felt in a very long time. Among the captivated audience stood a woman named Sarah. She had come to the fair for a quiet afternoon, hoping to enjoy the sunshine and maybe a good book. But as Alex's music filled the air, her plans changed. She found herself drawn to the stage, completely lost in the melody and the honest words. Sarah was an artist herself, a painter, and she understood the power of expressing your soul through your craft. As Alex sang, his voice carrying both tenderness and a touch of sadness, Sarah felt a deep connection. She noticed the way his eyes, though focused on the music, held a hint of a story untold. The way his hands moved over the guitar, strong yet gentle, spoke volumes about a passion that had been set aside. She saw the pride in Lily's face, bobbing in the front row, and a quiet admiration for Alex grew in her heart. The song wasn't just beautiful, it felt real, full of life's ups and downs. Sarah felt a warmth spread through her, a feeling of hope and understanding. This wasn't just a performance, it was a glimpse into someone's heart. When the song ended and the applause thundered, Sarah felt a strong urge to speak to him. There was something special about this man, a quiet strength mixed with a deep, soulful artistry. She watched him carefully put down the borrowed guitar, accepting the cheers with a humble smile. He knelt to hug Lily, who ran up to him, beaming with pride. The love between them was clear, another layer to the story his music had told. Sarah knew she had to meet him. His music had touched a part of her she hadn't known was waiting to be woken. She decided she would wait until the crowd thinned a little, giving him a moment with his daughter before she approached him. After the applause died down, Alex stepped off the stage, a little flushed but beaming, with Lily clinging to his leg. The lead singer thanked him warmly, and he felt a lightness in his step he hadn't known for years. As he was getting ready to head for home, a gentle voice spoke beside him. "That was truly beautiful," Sarah said, her smile warm and genuine. Alex turned, a little surprised, and met her kind eyes. "Thank you," he replied, feeling a blush creep up his neck. "It's been a long time since I played." "I could tell it came from the heart," she continued. "My name is Sarah, by the way." She offered a hand and Alex shook it, feeling a pleasant tingle. "Alex, and this is my amazing co-star, Lily." Lily, still buzzing with excitement, gave a shy wave. They chatted for a few minutes, standing there amidst the fading fairground buzz. Sarah told him she was an artist, and they talked about how art, whether music or painting, could tell a story. Alex found himself opening up, talking about his old dreams, about how life had led him down a different road. Sarah listened with real interest, her eyes twinkling. She didn't seem to care that he was a delivery driver now or that his guitar was gone. She saw the person behind the music. There was an easy comfort between them, a feeling that they had known each other for a long time. They laughed, shared stories, and for Alex it was like a new melody was starting to play in his heart. When it was time to leave, they exchanged numbers, both feeling a special spark, a quiet promise of something more. As Alex walked away with Lily, the fair lights twinkling behind them, he felt a hopeful lightness, a sense that the music hadn't truly left him after all. That special spark between Alex and Sarah quickly grew into something wonderful. Their first few phone calls stretched late into the night, full of laughter and shared stories. Alex found it easy to talk to Sarah, to tell her about his hopes and even his worries. She listened with an open heart and he felt truly seen. Soon, phone calls turned into coffee dates and coffee dates turned into walks in the park. Sarah loved hearing about Lily's latest adventures, and Lily, in turn, quickly warmed to Sarah's gentle nature and bright smile. Sarah would often bring small art supplies for Lily, and they would sit together drawing colorful pictures while Alex watched, a contented smile on his face. They found joy in simple things. They'd visit local art galleries, where Sarah would explain her paintings, and Alex would tell her about the songs he used to write. They cooked dinner together at Alex's apartment, filling the small space with good smells and happy chatter. Alex found himself looking forward to every moment he spent with her. It wasn't just that she was kind and smart. She brought a lightness to his life, a melody he hadn't realized was missing. Sarah encouraged him gently to think about music again. She never pushed, but her belief in his talent was a warm, steady glow. She often mentioned how beautiful his song at the fair was, reminding him of the joy he felt playing. Alex started humming tunes again, sometimes even tapping rhythms on the steering wheel of his delivery van, just like he used to. Life, which had felt like a hard, uphill climb for so long, now felt like a walk through a sunny meadow with Sarah by his side. It was a sweet, new chapter full of shared smiles and growing affection. One quiet evening, Alex sat on his couch, a new melody forming in his head. Sarah was there, sketching in her notebook, and Lily was happily coloring on the floor. He hummed the tune softly, and Sarah looked up, a warm smile on her face. "That sounds beautiful, Alex," she said. "What is it?" "Just an old feeling, a new song," he replied. He realized something profound in that moment. His life had changed so much since his days as a budding musician. He was a single dad, a delivery driver, a man who had sold his most cherished possession to keep his daughter safe and happy. Yet the music hadn't truly left him. It had just been waiting, like a quiet stream under the snow, ready to flow again. Sarah's love and Lily's innocent belief had shown him that. He didn't need to be on a big stage or own a fancy guitar to make music. Music was in his heart, in the rhythm of his daily life, in the love he shared with Lily and now with Sarah. He might not be the rock star he once dreamed of being, but he was something even better. A happy father, a loving partner, and a man who could still make beautiful music. He looked at Sarah, then at Lily, their faces glowing in the soft lamplight. Life had thrown him curveballs, made him put his dreams on hold, but it had also brought him unexpected gifts. Love had found him again, not just the deep, unchanging love for his daughter, but a new, tender love with Sarah. And through that love, his music, his deepest passion, had found its way back into his life. He picked up an old ukulele Lily had been given and strummed a few chords, a simple, happy tune. It wasn't Old Blue, but it was enough. He realized that a full, joyful life wasn't about holding onto old dreams exactly as they were, but about making new music with the love and joy you found along the way.